suggestion on the television show Get Up on ESPN, his idea immediately captured the attention. Marcotti suggested that Dallas Cowboys should trade star wide receiver George Pickens to the Las Vegas Raiders. In return, Cowboys would receive one of the best defensive players in football, edge rusher Maxi Crosby. This proposal created serious discussion among the fans and analysts, and many Dallas Cowboys supporters have dreamed about Crosby wearing the Cowboys uniform. Last year, during the trade deadline period, his name was heavily connected to the Dallas. Now conversation has returned, but this idea is different. Instead of simply adding Crosby, the Cowboys would have to give up George Pickens, one of their top offensive weapons. This would be a rare star for star trade. It forces the front office to make difficult decisions. If we want to seriously consider this trade, we must answer several important questions. Question 1. Who is better player? Let us start with the individual talent and performance. Max Crosby has been one of the most consistent defensive players in the league. Every single year since he entered the National Football League, he has produced strong results. He has recorded at least 7 sacks in each of his 7 seasons. That is impressive consistency. Crosby is 28 years old. That means he is still his athletic prime. Last season, even while playing through knee injury, he recorded 10 sacks. That shows toughness and durability. His achievements include 5 consecutive Pro Bowl selections. Being selected to the Pro Bowl 5 years in a row proves that coaches, players, and fans recognize his impact. Max Crosby is also known for relentless effort. He pressures that quarterbacks consistently. Offensive line struggle to block him and quarterback fear him. Now let's talk on the George Pickens. Pickens is 24 years old. He is young and still developing. Last season was his breakout year. He finished 2025 season with 93 receptions, 1,429 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. Those are elite numbers. Pickens has incredible athletic ability. He makes spectacular catches. He stretches the fields. His speed and body control creates big plays. Because he is young, his ceiling may be higher than Crosby. However, Crosby's already finished the product. He has proven himself year for year. Pickens is rising, but Crosby has already established dominance. This trade is like choosing between a powerful hurricane and a glowing tornado. One is already destructive and proven, and other might become even stronger. Question 2. Which position is more valuable? In modern football, pressuring the quarterback is extremely important. Elite edge rusher affect every defensive snap. They force quarterbacks to throw power quickly. This disrupts timing. They create turnovers. They change the game plans. Wide receivers are important too. They score touchdowns. They make highlights plays, but they depend on quarterbacks. If the quarterback struggles, the receiver production often drops. Last season, Max Crosby affected both running plays and passing plays. He lived in the backfield and he provided the pressure that raised the entire defense. A receiver like George Pickens can change the game with one coach. However, an elite defensive end can influence every drive. There is also financial evidence. When we look at salary data, the highest paid non-quarterback players are usually edge rushers. Teams pay huge money for players who can attack the quarterback. That tells us how valuable that position is. It is extremely difficult to find someone who can beat large offensive linemen consistently. It is slightly easier to find talented wide receivers. When quarterback is consistently under pressure, even great receivers look average. This is why edge rushers are considered a form of insurance for the defense. We have also question 3, which side of the ball needs more help for both sides. Dallas Cowboys currently have a balanced roster. They recently traded Micah Parsons. Without him, the defense lacks a dominant pass rusher. The weakness affects the entire unit. Defense backs struggle more when quarterbacks have too much time. Clearly, the defense needs help. Adding Max Crosby would immediately improve the pass rusher. He would also bring leadership to defense, adjusting to a new coordinator. However, we must not ignore the offense. The Cowboys have quarterbacks, Dak Prescott and star receiver CeeDee Lamb. But football is easier when there is multiple dangerous receiving threats. When Prescott has a strong second option, the offense becomes explosive. If Pickens leaves, the defenses will focus even more attention on Lamb. That could make scoring more difficult. So, while the defense needs help, offense cannot afford to become predictable. Question 4. Which position is easier to replace? If the Cowboys trade Pickens, they will need another wide receiver. They have strong draft picks at number 12 and number 20 in the first round. Both wide receiver and edge rusher position after good prospect in this draft class. The answer depends on how Cowboys scouting department evaluates the draft board. Perhaps they believe the wide receiver class is deeper. If so, they might feel comfortable replacing Pickens through the draft. There is also free agents. The Cowboys could sign a veteran wide receiver who may not be as explosive as Pickens but still productive. That would allow them to focus their draft picks on strengthening the defense. Imagine this scenario. The Cowboys trade Crosby. For Crosby, they sign solid wide receiver in free agents. They use both first-round draft picks on the defensive players. That would mean adding 3 strong defenders instead of 2. That could rapidly improve the defense. Question 5. Which player costs more? Money always matters in NFL. Max Crosby signed a 3-year contract extension worth of $106.5 million. He is under contract for 4 more years. His average yearly salary is $28 million. For a top edge rusher, that is actually reasonable. He is not even in the top 10 highest paid players in his position. George Pickens is expected to receive a franchise tag worth of around $28 million. However, he wants a long-term deal closer to the $35 million per year. That long-term contract would include the guaranteed money that makes it riskier. If Pickens declines in performance, the Cowboys would still weigh him the large sum of the money. Crosby contract offers more flexibility. It is slightly cheaper and carries less financial risk. Additionally, signing Pickens could lead to difficult negotiation. Every off-season, the Cowboys often face complicated contract discussions. Acquiring Crosby might avoid that stress. If the Cowboys truly want Max Crosby, trading George Pickens for him could be a smart decision. Some may ask, why would the Las Vegas Raiders agree? The Raiders are preparing a draft new quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, with the number 1 overdraft picks. And the young quarterback needs weapons. Currently, his best receivers is slot receiver Trey Tucker. Adding Pickens would immediately improve the Raiders' offense. It would energize fans and it would help to develop their young quarterbacks. For the Cowboys, the trade represents selling high. Pickens had a fantastic 2025 season, but he will repeat the performance every year. Crosby offers consistent production. The Cowboys desperately need a reliable pass rusher. The draft can replace wide receiver. Finding a proven elite edge rusher is much harder, of course. Yes, it is a bold move. Yes, fans will hesitate. But football rewards balance. A dominant defense paired with the solid offensive creates championship potential. If the Cowboys make this trade, they may lose an exciting offensive weapons. However, they would gain stability, toughness, and leadership on the defense. In the end, question is simple. Do the Cowboys want highlight plays? Or do they want pressure, balance, and long? That is a challenge to himself and to the entire organization. If Jeff Jones is truly planned to spend aggressively, then this offseason must look different from previous years. The Cowboys cannot afford to be conservative. They cannot afford to wait. Yes, of course, they cannot afford to lose elite talent and hope your players magically develop. The time to act is now, with Brian Schottenheimer stepping into leadership as head coach and Christian Parker guiding the defense. This team is entering into a new chapter. The new coaching energy brings, of course, opportunity, but energy alone does not win championships. Smart roster breeding does. Bold free agent decision do. And of course, strategic contract extension can do. The first and the most important decision involves wide receiver George Pickens. Before discussing outside of the free agents, the Cowboys must secure their own star. Pickens has proven he is a true number one receiver, contested catch. He stretched the field vertically, he wins contested catches, and he plays with confidence and edge. He forces defenses to adjust coverage scheme. If Dallas allows George Pickens to leave, the offense immediately takes a step backwards. Replacing elite production is not easy. Drafting a rookie is risky. Signing a cheaper veteran is not the same. The smartest move is clear. Offer long-term contract extension and bleed around him, of course. If Jerry Jones truly wants to bust the buckets, it begins with keeping elite talent in the Dallas like George Pickens. Once that internal priority is handled,